Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to explain 10 things that every natural or every person considering going natural needs to know. And depending on where you are in your natural hair journey, you may already be aware of some or all of these 10 things, or you may not. But either way, if you are aware of them, it'll be like some great reassurance and some motivation to keep you going. And if you're not, then you'll learn some new things and now you know. And also for this video, I'm going to be working backwards. So I'm actually going to start with tip number 10 and work down to tip number 1. So if you want to hear all 10 tips, make sure you stick around for the whole video to see which one ends up being number 1. So without further ado, let's get into this video. So starting with number 10, it's health then length, not the other way around. I'm sorry, but I promise it won't work that way. So to give a little bit of perspective to this, I know I've used this analogy before. I actually did so in my last video on hair porosity, but think of your hair as your lover. And in this relationship, you both want things. You want your hair to grow, and your hair wants moisture, detangling, deep conditioning, protein, and 1,000 other things. It's a sucky relationship, I know. You give 99.9% consistently on a basically daily basis, and your hair gives you back about 0.1% over a span of like 2 years. But I promise you, if you keep doing this, it will be well worth the wait and well worth the reward. And plus, along the way, you get to enjoy your hair in all of its different stages, and you might even end up deciding long hair isn't what you want after all. Number 9, you want to use as little direct heat as possible. Of course, every once in a while, we're going to want to straighten to show everyone else our length. And of course, you want to reward yourself and see the length that you've achieved too. But when it does come to flat irons, curling irons, hot combs, any form of direct heat that's going to straighten your hair, you want to try to use it as infrequently as possible. Now, of course, there are good forms of heat, and that would be your indirect heat, which can come from hooded dryers and diffusers and stuff like that, which is great for deeper penetration when deep conditioning. Blow dryers are another potential form of this good indirect heat if you're using it on a cool, low temperature and holding it kind of a good distance away from your curls just to kind of speed up the drying process. But if you are using it to blow dry your hair out straight to have that blown out look, that could be another form of bad direct heat if you do use it very frequently. So for your blow dryers, just monitor the way in which you're using it. And as far as flat irons, curling irons, and your hot combs go, when you do use them, you want to use it on the lowest possible temperature setting to get the desired result. So you don't want to go too high, and you want to stay at pretty low, just kind of depending on the heat settings your flat iron has. And also try using the comb chase method, where you put the comb in front of the flat iron in order to kind of get that tension to get it pretty straight, so you only have to go over each section about 1 time. And of course, anytime before you use these direct heating tools, make sure you apply a heat protectant first. Number 8, co-wash constantly or not. This is one of those great natural hair care things that you can honestly do as much of or as little of as you want. It's completely up to you. And because this practice is so flexible, it's going to basically completely depend on your routine and what your hair needs. So like for me personally, I co-wash about once a week just because I feel good kind of just rinsing my hair out and getting some moisture in there like that about once a week. But some people, if they exercise really frequently, or if they feel like their hair needs a moisture boost more consistently than that, you can do it 3 times a week, 5 times a week, or even every day. And along with that, doing it as much as you want, doing it not at all is an option too. Some people feel like it's too much hassle to co-wash their hair, or they may feel like the moisture that they get from co-washing isn't a significant difference from the moisture they have for the routine they already have in place. Honestly, like I said, it's completely up to you and what you see your hair needs and how it reacts to co-washing. And if you're watching this video and you're not sure what co-washing is, this is the first time you've heard this term, or if you do know what it is and you're not sure how to do it, I'm going to have a link in the description box below to my co-washing video just to help you out. So on to number 7. Too much protective styling isn't protective. Yes, we all know protective styling can be great, and we all know the benefits it imparts by it being a technique that's meant to protect your ends through styles such as twists, braids, faux locks, and sew-ins. But I know we've also all likely heard or at least seen the stories on social media where girls will take out their sew-ins or protective styles and their hair will be completely matted and just totally unsalvageable underneath because they didn't allow their hair to breathe in between their protective style installations, or they didn't take care of their hair while it was in that style. And yes, I know these cases are usually pretty extreme. They don't happen all that often, but they still do happen. And it just goes to show you that too much of anything, even a potentially good thing, isn't good. Not giving your hair any time to breathe between styles and not taking care of it when it is out of these protective styles can cause dryness, tangling, breakage, basically everything you were trying to avoid by having the style in the first place. So what can you do to prevent this? I know everyone's hair is different, so some people's hair might be able to handle more than others, but just as a general guideline, you want to try and keep your styles in for no longer than about 6 weeks. Then you want to make sure you go to your stylist, or if you do it yourself, keep up on the maintenance so you can be sure that your hair is in good condition underneath. And when you do take your hair out, you want to give your hair at least at the bare minimum 2 weeks to recover, if not more. And if you are on one of these protective styling breaks and you're one of those people who are used to having their protective styles in, try to look at the break as a good thing. You get to enjoy your hair without having it covered up. I know some of us can get really attached to our protective styles, especially if we're not too confident in our hair yet, but I promise you, once you get used to wearing it out, you'll start to love it even more. Now on to number 6. You want to detangle with your fingers or a wide tooth comb. Now, personally, I have never been finger detangling's #1 fan. I'm not going to sit here and try and pretend like I am. But the one time that I did try it out, the results were pretty good about 2 hours later. Now, of course, there are ways out there to speed up the process. It doesn't always have to take 2 hours to detangle. There are hair care products out there that are for finger detangling that have a lot of slip in them to make the process a lot easier. But if you don't have the patience for finger detangling, or if you just feel like your curl pattern is too tight for that, there is absolutely nothing wrong with using a wide tooth comb. But when you are using the comb, just be sure that you're starting at the ends of your hair and working your way up through the knots, not starting at the root and trying to comb down. If you do it that way, all you're going to do is like Hulk smash your way through all the big knots, and that is absolutely what we're trying not to do. So be sure that if you are, you're doing it in that process, and your hair will thank you by not being all over the floor when you're done. Number 5, moisture, moisture, moisture. Wherever you go in the natural hair community, you're going to hear us all singing this same song, so you might as well start singing it with us. Moisture is the key to success for your strands. It's that simple. And quite honestly, all of our hair care practices revolve around this process. Because, I mean, just think about it for a second. Co-washing, deep conditioning, protein treatments, the LOC method, the LCO method, your own method for moisturizing your hair, trying to figure out what your hair porosity is, trying to figure out what your hair type is, examining the ingredients in your products, protective styles, low manipulation styles. At the end of the day, these are all hair care concepts, practices, or methods designed to either help you retain moisture or designed to help you moisturize your hair properly. So with all that being said, definitely make sure you have some type of consistent moisture regimen in place. I'm going to have a link in the description box below to some moisture regimens that I think you could possibly try out. But yes, make sure you are always using water in your hair. Water, water, water. Because at the end of the day, a little water never hurt anybody, but none of it is always deadly. So number 4, expensive doesn't mean best. If you're like me, you've probably walked through the aisles of Walmart, Target, and other places where natural hair care products are sold and looked up at the wall like, oh, I'd love to buy this super awesomely named hair care product. One day get the money. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's good to experiment, but don't be off put by a smaller price tag. Being natural is already expensive enough. If you are going to spend more money, make sure it's a good investment first and try to put it towards something that's going to last, like a durable detangler or a thick cream that won't run out so fast. And if you're watching me explain this tip and you're nodding your head like, yes, girl, you don't even gotta go on. You don't have to explain this to me no more. I'm not spending $30 on a product. Remember, there's nothing wrong with trying expensive products. Sometimes you want to reward yourself. And sometimes with cheaper products, the ingredients aren't so good. Your hair moisture might not be lasting as long as you want it to, or it could be some other hair care issue that a more expensive product might be able to fix because they do tend to have better ingredients. But overall, you should probably never really spend $30 on a hair care product. And if you have a really good thing going with a $5 to $10 leave-in conditioner, chances are you don't need to break your pockets or its heart anytime soon by going to get a $15 one. And kind of going off of number 4, number 3, experiment. Think back to when you first went natural, or if you're not natural yet and you're watching this, think of what you're going through right now. You might have some ideas of what to do because of research, family, and friends, but at the end of the day, you had to start somewhere. But of course, you don't want to experiment all willy-nilly. We just went through saying how expensive natural hair can already be. So if you want to try and figure out what your hair porosity is, I'm gonna have a link in the description box below to that video. It's good to try and figure out what your porosity is, or maybe even your hair type, so you can kind of have an idea of what products may work, and then do some research on some different products so you can have a good idea the next time you do go to a store. And if you're looking at this tip and you're like, girl, I already have a routine in place, I don't need no more stress in my life, trying out something new could potentially be good for you too, especially if you have some specific curl issue that you want to resolve, like getting greater curl definition or reducing frizz. But if you aren't having any of these specific issues and it seems like your products are working out just fine, yes, keep using them, but you do want to experiment after a while, because over time your hair can get used to certain products and they cannot be as effective as they used to be on your strands. And why not just have fun and try out something new? Who knows, you might end up finding something that works even better. Number 2, all hair is good hair. Yes, I low-key had to shout that, and I'll put like 50 exclamation points behind it because it is so important. And that's also why it's number 2 from being the first one on this list, because it's so important. Because think about it, how dare someone have the audacity to say some woman's hair is better than another's because of the way a curl falls? Like, for real? And how dare any of us try to internalize that ignorance and believe it? You and your curls are not only unique and beautiful, but they represent something so much bigger than yourself. That's why this is called a natural hair journey. It's so empowering, and it's not always going to be easy. There are going to be times when you want to give up. There are going to be times when your style didn't come out right. Your hair seems like it's all over the floor from detangling. It doesn't seem like your hair is holding in any moisture, but that's what makes it so rewarding in the long run. Yes, there's always going to be that person out there who seems like they have things come to them a little easier. And the same is true with hair care. There's going to be that person who seems like they have to do so little for their hair just to flourish. But honestly, the things that tend to be the most rewarding in life are the ones that you have to really work for. And at the end of the day, people always want what they don't have, not realizing the hardships that may be on the other side. So that curl pattern that you're envying, thinking that is so much better than yours, is so much prettier than yours, retains moisture so much better than yours, they honestly may be envying you right back because they think the same thing. That's why it's so important to know that all hair is good hair, and to cherish what's on your head and your heritage behind it. And finally, natural thing you should know, number 1, enjoy your hair. Your TWA, your twist out, your Bantu knots, your productless curl pattern, your shrinkage, and yes, with an extra hair flip to the people that ask if it's yours when it's laid. Honestly, one of the main beauties of natural hair is its versatility. It literally frees you. So have fun with your hair, enjoy it, try out different styles, even try out some dyes in a safe way. Just enjoy your hair in all of its stages. And don't forget to document it along the way with plenty of pictures so you can see how far you've came. And while you're at it, DM one of those pictures to the Instagram account for this YouTube channel at The College Curls. If you don't follow the Instagram account yet, on the page, I post the pictures of people who send in their hair to be posted. And honestly, they get a lot of likes, hundreds, even thousands of likes. So yes, please be sure to DM one of your pictures to me. And that is the end of this video, you guys. But before you go, please comment down below if any of these tips helped or resonated with you. Let me know how they did so. And let me know if you feel like there are other things that natural should know that I probably missed. So make sure you comment that down in the comment box below. And of course, as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that like button if you liked it, hit it even if you didn't. Leave a comment down in the comment box below, and make sure you subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.